Hello, Radiant Leo Soul. You didn't just click on this video by chance. You were guided here. And I need you to know, this isn't just another horoscope reading. This is a sacred message from a higher realm, sent straight to your heart. In the first few seconds, let me be absolutely clear. Your mother in heaven is watching over you, and she has something deeply important to share. If you stay with me until the end, I promise, what's waiting for you could shift your entire inner world. Let me ask you something bold. Have you ever felt someone's presence in a quiet room, even when no one was there? Or found yourself comforted by a memory, a song, a scent, as if someone was gently reaching out to you from beyond the veil? Leo, if your soul has been yearning for peace, for answers, for healing, then you're exactly where you need to be. Because today's reading is not just cosmic, it's karmic. In this sacred space we're creating together, I want you to know something. You are not broken, and you are not alone. There is a divine motherly presence around you, soft, wise, and eternal. She may no longer be in the physical realm, but her love? It hasn't left for a moment. She's still with you, guiding you quietly, tenderly, waiting for the moment you'd be ready to hear her again. This moment right now. It's not random. It's aligned. Spiritually aligned. The universe doesn't waste energy. And your being here tells me you're at a turning point, a soul-level shift that's asking you to wake up, to let go of pain that was never yours to carry, and to remember that you are the one chosen to break the cycle. You were never meant to keep repeating the silence, the struggle, the suppression that's lived in your lineage for generations. That ends with you. And not because you force it, but because you finally choose truth over fear, light over shame, love over performance. If you're feeling something stir inside you, even if it's subtle, I invite you to take one conscious breath with me. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now, gently place your hand on your heart. And if a number, image, or name floats into your awareness, don't ignore it. That may be your angel number for today. Go ahead and comment it below. Let this be your sign that you're open, and you're ready. And while you're here, let me take just a moment to say, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. For liking, for commenting, for subscribing to Eternal Mindfulness. Your energy doesn't go unnoticed. Every single act of support helps this message travel further, to those who need it most. Your presence allows this community to grow into something sacred. And beloved Leo, trust me, you'll want to stay with me until the very last second of this video, because what the universe is about to reveal is breathtaking. Now tell me, my loyal lions, what called you here today? What message do you believe your mother wants you to receive? That flame in your chest, yes, the one you've tried to quiet, contain, or shape to fit others, is not here to burn you out. It was placed there by someone who saw you before the world did. The moment your soul entered this life, there was one gaze that carried a knowing beyond words. Your mother, in whatever form she existed, was the first to feel the fire that is uniquely yours. She didn't just nurture you with her hands, she ignited something deeper, something that would one day guide you when you no longer had her voice to lean on. And that day, Leo, might be now. In astrology, Leo is the sign of light, solar energy embodied. But this light is not loud for the sake of being noticed, it's radiant because it is authentic. When a Leo shines, it's not performance, it's alignment. This section of your story is not about fame, not about applause. It's about remembrance. About recalling the truth that someone saw your soul and said, yes, the world needs this. The energy of motherhood doesn't have to be biological. It can be the soft force that once wrapped itself around you in silence when you were hurting. It might have been in a lullaby, a touch, a scent in the kitchen. Or perhaps it's the ache of not having those things, yet still sensing their absence as a sign of presence, not void. Love, in its purest form, doesn't vanish when bodies do. It transforms. And sometimes, it shows up as a flame in the chest. Not painful, but persistent. Not roaring, but enduring. That flame your mother left you with isn't meant to consume you. It's meant to guide you, not away from yourself, but back in. Like a lantern swinging in the breeze, it calls you to return when you've wandered too far into expectations or noise. And if you've ever wondered why you feel so deeply, so intensely, or why certain silences feel louder than words, it's because this fire in you has always been a message, not a burden. In the path of awakening, there's a quiet wisdom that teaches, the fire within does not seek to destroy, it seeks to illuminate. It's not an enemy to tame but a teacher to honor. Your light was never designed to validate others, it was born to remind you of who you are. And maybe your mother couldn't tell you that directly. Maybe life made her hard, quiet, or distant. But energy never lies. And if you sit with yourself long enough, you'll feel the truth of her love pulsing beneath your ribs. You are not here to burn for others. You are here to shine your path open. And the irony is, when you do that, those who are lost may find direction through your example. That is the quiet service Leo often gives without knowing it, to be light, and in doing so, give permission for others to come home to theirs. So, I invite you to close your eyes. Not as a spiritual exercise, but as a gesture of return. When was the last time you felt your mother watching over you, not with her eyes, but through your breath, your dreams, your sudden tears? Can you allow yourself to trust that maybe she's never truly left? That she lives inside the choices you make when you choose love over fear, rest over proving, truth over pleasing? Even if you never heard her say the words out loud, that doesn't mean she didn't love you. Some love is louder in silence. Some flames don't dance, they hold steady. And that's what you carry now. The legacy of a fire lit in your name, meant not to burn you, but to bring you back to yourself. What if the version of yourself that tried to carry everything wasn't the most noble, but simply the most tired? For so long, you've been walking with weights that were never yours to bear. Maybe it started with a quiet expectation from childhood, or an invisible role you stepped into without knowing, keeping the peace, absorbing the tension, holding it together when no one else could. You were told, directly or silently, that strength looked like sacrifice. That love meant self-erasure. That loyalty required silence. And over time, without realizing it, you began to wear other people's struggles like a second skin. But what if that wasn't strength? What if strength was the ability to gently set down what was never yours to carry, and to still remain whole? Generational pain often disguises itself as duty. We see it in the way our mothers lived through exhaustion, our grandmothers through quiet resignation, our ancestors through survival. These silent legacies are rarely spoken aloud, yet they echo within our nervous systems, in the way we flinch at rest, or feel guilt when joy comes too easily. We inherit not only the gifts of those before us, but their wounds, their unfinished lessons, their unlived truths. Yet you, beloved Leo, are different. Not because you are special in a way that others are not, but because you are aware. And awareness is what interrupts the cycle. You've reached a point in your journey where the script no longer fits. You sense it when your body resists the old roles, when your soul no longer wants to contort for love, when the voice inside you whispers, "This doesn't feel like me." That whisper is not rebellion, it is remembrance. A return to what has always been true beneath the roles you've been taught to perform. The truth is, your mother, whether present or absent, gentle or hardened, never truly wanted you to suffer for love. Even if she didn't have the words or awareness to say it, her deeper wish was never for you to repeat her exhaustion, her compromises, her grief. Every generation hopes, even unconsciously, that the next will get free. And you are the one who can. Choosing to live as yourself, without apology or permission, is not selfish, it's sacred. It is the quiet revolution that ends centuries of self-denial. It's not about turning your back on your roots, but about honoring them fully, by no longer betraying yourself to remain loyal to pain. In practices of awakening, it is often said that suffering persists until it teaches us to see clearly. Once we do, the lesson dissolves into wisdom, and what was once a burden becomes a bridge. You are not here to continue the legacy of depletion. You are here to transmute it, through clarity, through boundaries, through soft refusal. No more shrinking for others to feel comfortable. No more proving your worth through struggle. You are not the sum of what you've survived. You are the choice that changes everything. So pause now, if you can. Take a breath into your belly. And say, even softly, "I choose to live as myself." Let that be your offering to every woman who came before you, and every child who may come after. Let that be the moment the cycle begins to break. If this speaks to you, I invite you to comment below, "I choose to live as myself. I will carry no more." Because you don't have to be the strong one anymore. You only need to be the true one. And in doing so, you become free. Not all pain begins with you. Some of the heaviness you carry has roots stretching far beyond your own life, woven into the gestures of those who came before you, into the habits you never questioned, into the way your body responds before your mind can explain why. This isn't weakness. It's inheritance. And awareness is the first key to transforming it. When we look at pain only as a personal wound, we miss its deeper purpose. Sometimes the ache in your chest, the fatigue that doesn't leave, or the fear of being truly seen isn't just yours, it's the echo of your lineage. The quiet heartbreak of mothers, grandmothers, and daughters who had to silence parts of themselves to survive. And yet, Leo, here you are, with the rare courage not only to feel it, but to face it. To look at pain not as a curse, but as a teacher. The Strength card in tarot, your card, is often misunderstood. It doesn't symbolize brute force. It speaks to a deeper mastery, the ability to stay soft in the face of pressure, to hold space for emotion without being consumed by it. True strength is gentle. It's the hand that soothes the wound, not the one that denies it exists. And that's the journey you're being asked to walk now. To turn toward the pain, not to drown in it, but to listen. What is it trying to show you? Whose voice does it echo? Often, what we call emotional triggers are unprocessed stories asking to be honored. The body keeps score, especially in the heart center. If you've been feeling tension in your chest, disrupted sleep, erratic energy, or sudden emotional waves, this is your signal. It's not a flaw, it's a flag. Your body is speaking on behalf of your spirit. To support this shift, care must come from both sides, physical and emotional. Focus on nurturing the heart and solar plexus regions. These areas govern not only physical functions like blood pressure and breath, but your sense of worth, safety, and courage. Support your healing through simple, grounding steps. Eat vibrant foods like pomegranates, red berries, tomatoes, nourishment that echoes the richness of your life force. Add in golden foods like pumpkin or turmeric to support digestion and transformation. Begin your day with a short breath practice. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Let this rhythmic stillness remind you that you are not in a rush. Healing unfolds in spirals, not straight lines. There is power in ritual, not because it changes the external world, but because it aligns the inner one. Set aside a quiet moment to write a letter to your mother, whether she is near or far, living or gone. Pour into it the words that were never said, the truth you've been holding in your body. And when it's finished, do what feels right, burn it and let the smoke rise, or bury it as an offering to the earth. Either way, release it with love. Not for her approval, but for your freedom. You are not here to carry unspoken pain as a badge of honor. You are here to witness it, to bless it, and then let it go. Your soul chose this lifetime not to repeat what's been done, but to become the bridge between what was and what could be. Say it softly or say it loud, but say it like a truth you've earned. I choose to live without carrying the pain of others. In that choice, something ancient in you will finally exhale. And that is where your true strength begins. When the heart begins to quiet its defenses and the breath returns to its natural rhythm, something subtle but powerful starts to shift. You stop chasing, stop proving, and for the first time in a long time, you begin to remember. You remember that you weren't born to earn your worth, you were born with it. You remember that being loved shouldn't require performance. You remember that your presence alone is already purpose in motion. This is the very moment the universe begins to respond, not with noise or grand signs, but with a gentle realignment that feels like things finally falling into place. That alignment is not a coincidence, it's a reflection of inner freedom. For Leo, who rules with radiant heart energy, this phase of your journey is not about seeking power outside of you. It's about reclaiming what was always yours, your natural right to lead, not through domination, but through example. Through light. You are not here to submit to the expectations of a world that undervalues authenticity. You are here to model what it looks like to live in integrity with your truth, even when that truth is quiet, tender, or still taking shape. The law of attraction doesn't reward perfection, it responds to resonance. And when your internal state vibrates with clarity, courage, and self-respect, the external world cannot help but catch up. You may have noticed this already, new opportunities emerging, certain people falling away, a subtle magnetism growing around your ideas or presence. This isn't random. It's the vibration of someone stepping into their true frequency. In numerology, 3 key numbers are circling your energy right now. The number 3 invites you to create, not just in art or work, but in the way you speak to yourself, in the way you choose to live. It's the energy of playful healing, of finding beauty in imperfection. The number 11 opens a spiritual portal. It marks initiation, a moment where the soul's mission activates on a conscious level. It whispers, "You're ready now." Ready to trust the whispers, to stop waiting for approval, and to begin. And the number 19, often overlooked, holds sacred power. It carries the frequency of completion, of a karmic cycle reaching its final chord. It signals not just an ending, but the beginning of a new era, built on different terms. You are no longer repeating. You are rebuilding. In your professional world, this may show up as recognition, finally being seen for what you've been quietly mastering for years. In your finances, it may feel like a course correction, where money begins to flow more in sync with your values. But more important than all of that is what's happening within. Your inner sense of dignity is returning. That deep inner knowing that says, "I don't have to explain myself anymore." And in love, it means something even more profound, the ability to receive affection without compromising your soul. To be chosen for who you are, not for how well you adapt or perform. Now ask yourself, not with fear, but with curiosity, can you envision a future where you're loved correctly, effortlessly, simply for being? A future where your light doesn't have to flicker to make others comfortable, where you don't have to sacrifice your essence for belonging? That future already exists in the field of potential. Your job is to align with it, not force it, not chase it, but become it. You were never meant to be contained. You were meant to illuminate. And every time you choose your truth over your fear, you step further into that purpose. That's the mission you've been carrying all along, not a task to be completed, but a frequency to be remembered. There comes a moment when you realize the version of yourself that the world wanted is not the version that brings you peace. You've spent so much time trying to meet expectations, some spoken, many unspoken, that you may have forgotten what it feels like to simply exist in your own rhythm. But your mother, whether she could express it or not, never truly wanted you to twist yourself into someone else's shape for the sake of being accepted. She didn't need you to impress anyone, to prove your strength through struggle, or to perform love in ways that drained you. More than anything, she longed to see you free, free to be real, to be whole, to be fully yourself without apology. There's an image that lingers, tender and weightless, her eyes, not watching to judge but to witness. Quietly. Softly. Like sunlight filtering through leaves. And in that gaze, no expectation remains, only hope. Not hope that you will achieve some external milestone, but that you will come home to the truth inside you. That you will live as someone who no longer waits to be validated, but chooses instead to be fully alive in their own experience. The kind of hope that asks for nothing in return except your willingness to drop the mask and just be. True freedom has never been about doing whatever you want. It's about no longer needing to explain yourself for who you already are. It's about resting in your own vibration, walking your path with a quiet knowing that your presence is enough. The desire to be understood, though very human, can sometimes keep us stuck in roles that were never meant for us. But the deeper lesson is this: understanding is not always a requirement for peace. When you stop trying to be translated, you start speaking your native truth again. Each time light falls across your hands, consider it an invitation. Not a sign in the mystical sense, but a moment to remember. To breathe. To pause and quietly affirm, I am living in the light my mother placed in me. Whether she was present or distant, nurturing or silent, her love lives on as a frequency. It's not bound to the past. It flows through every choice you make that honors your inner clarity, even when that choice is misunderstood by others. Colors, too, hold frequency. Soft lavender carries the energy of healing unsaid words, the ones you never voiced, the ones she never could. It invites compassion without expectation, gentleness without explanation. Gold, radiant and grounded, reflects the vibration of truth fully expressed. It does not scream. It shines. Not to outshine others, but to remain honest to itself. These colors are not just symbolic, they are reminders of what you're reclaiming, the right to express without distortion, to radiate without fear. You don't need to be anyone's hero. You don't need to carry the emotional weight of proving that your life has meaning. It already does. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. There is immense strength in not needing to be agreed with in order to feel rooted. There is grace in no longer trying to correct every misunderstanding. The most powerful declaration you can make right now is quiet and steady. I don't need to be understood, I only need to be myself. When that becomes your compass, peace is no longer conditional. It becomes your home. And your mother, wherever her energy rests now, no longer needs you to fulfill anyone's legacy. She only wishes to see you live in the fullness of your own. If you're still here, still breathing with me through these final moments, then something inside you has already heard the message, long before your mind could name it. Maybe you can't explain it, but you feel it. That gentle stirring in your chest, that subtle shift in your breath, the sense that this wasn't just a video you randomly clicked on, it was something meant for you. Not because of me, but because a deeper part of you has been waiting for this reminder. The part your mother always saw, even if she never had the words to tell you. You don't have to carry pain in order to be loved. You don't have to keep proving your worth. You are already enough. You no longer need to live as a response to someone else's silence. You're not here to fix the past. You're not here to fulfill outdated molds handed down through generations. You may have spent years trying to live well, love right, be strong, but in the process, maybe you forgot something softer. That your life isn't about maintaining an image of resilience. It's about honoring the truth of your rhythm. It's about living in a way that feels true to your body, your energy, your light, without guilt or apology. You were born into this line, not to carry the burden of inherited grief, but to transform it. To soften it. To set it down. You are the one who was chosen, not to repeat what came before, but to end it with love. To say, it stops with me. When you begin to live freely, when you choose softness over suppression, truth over performance, your liberation becomes hers too. That is how healing moves through generations, not through blame or revenge, but through courage, presence, and permission. And maybe, just maybe, you've spent parts of your life longing for a kind of love you didn't quite receive. An embrace that lasted long enough. A word of approval spoken at just the right time. A mother's gaze that saw not just your actions, but your essence. If she never said she was proud of you, please hear it now. She was. She is. And wherever her energy now resides, she sees you. Not with judgment, but with quiet pride. She doesn't want you to keep earning love through exhaustion. She wants you to know you already are love. That you can live freely, not fearfully. You have nothing left to prove. No pain left to carry. No version of yourself to justify. The only thing waiting for you now is your own permission. So start with something small. Place your hand over your heart, right here, right now, and whisper it in your own voice. I choose to live freely. I don't live to compensate. I live to be true. And if that sentence echoes inside you, leave it in the comments below. Not for me, but for the universe. Let it witness your readiness. Say it your own way. Write, Mom, I choose to be myself. Or even just a single dot that means, I felt this. Whatever honesty rises up, let it land. You don't need to be the lion who roars today. You can be the one who breathes. Who glows. Who rests in truth. This world doesn't need more saviors. It needs more souls who dare to shine without shame. Thank you deeply, for staying with me this far. Your presence is not taken lightly. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription, it brings this sacred message closer to those who also need to remember. And it tells the universe, yes, I'm ready now. So if you're ready to begin again, not from scratch, but from self-trust, take that first gentle step. Choose yourself. Start where you are. Start with breath, with truth, with love. Because you didn't land here by accident. This is your turning point. This is your permission. And this is your blessing.